Firstly though, MTV recently caught up with Robin and Liz and asked them how they felt about their influence on fellow musicians and the endless string of compliments.
It's just as difficult as the criticism, you know. But I like to think that we'll be able to cope.
I know how to do it now.
With that, because
I smile politely and go, thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, that's what it's all about.
I don't mean it though. Well, I didn't mean this. What do you mean? What do you mean? Leave me alone.
See, that's taking responsibility for what you do, being able to take the compliments and as well as the criticism. And it's a reward. That's a reward for all that hard work. When people say nice things and you take it.
I finally get some acceptance that what I do is all right and it's worth sort of complimenting. You know, it doesn't mean that I'm all right, but what I do is definitely all right.
With a band made up of publicity-shy musicians, never fronting their album covers or sprouting musical philosophies, the Cocteau's live experiences were pretty few and far between. Yet, with the release of their 10th album, the band took to the road and have since toured Europe and are currently wowing the American audiences. We asked them the rather obvious question about the differences between being in the studio and playing live.
Live is different. Live is instant gratification. You don't get anything like that in the studio, and you don't. I'm really on my own in the studio, I feel. But I mean, when you're singing in front of an audience, there's so much love. It sounds corny. I don't know how else to describe it, but there's a real, there's a real connectedness there, and it's just, I've never noticed it before. Maybe I'm less afraid. Maybe I can take. Maybe I'm not afraid to notice things that are going on around me now, and that's what I notice.
Since then, the Cocteaus have pretty much had 3 turbulent years, bearing children, leaving their record company 4AD, building their own studio, and then signing to their new label, Fontana Records. At one of their gigs, we asked Liz and Rob, after 3 years away from the live stage, what happened to the band that were their own worst enemies, and how had their faith and confidence in their ability changed?
Being 30, having a child.
Being in therapy.
Being in therapy. Cleaning house, realising that you can't, especially having a child, I mean, I found I was more immature than she was. She's 4 now.
Yeah, you learn an awful lot from your children.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest influence.
Already aware, of course, that the album was again received with welcoming arms, I'll leave the last word to Robin and Liz as they explain how they perceive Four Calendar Cafe in relation to what they've released in the past and given to obsessional audiences since their birth in the early 80s.
It's just the right album. It's the album it's meant to be.
Yeah, we've always done. That's what we do. We do the best we can at the time. And it sounds like the Cocteau Twins, and it sounds like the next phase. It's just always evolved into the next thing. But it's always us. But it did feel like a fresh start, this album.